Good evening, Wildcat fans. Welcome to Eagan Civic Arena for this Saturday night matchup between your Wildcats and the Warriors from Two Rivers. Non-conference game here. We have Scoog, Groutman, and Schmidt. Your starting forwards, Liam Rasmussen and Willie Levine, are your defensive pair. Two Rivers sends that back to the middle. Levine able to get that back up. Scoog tipped it forward, then recovered by Two Rivers. Scoog scans it behind. He's got it at the red line. Tried to tip that ahead to Groutman. Leaves it for Rasmussen, who's able to dump it deep into the zone. Groutman there providing pressure. Groutman reverses that back around. Leaves it behind the net. D-to-D pass goes wide. Groutman applies pressure behind the net there. Back up towards the point. Schmidt not able to keep that in. Levine dumps it down deep. And 4 out of the 5 go for a line change as Scoot keeps everyone occupied. Tried to take it ahead to himself. Out front for Eddie. Eddie shot on net. And goal for the Wildcats. Early in this game, just a minute into the session. And we have a goal for the good guys in green. Puck is back down. Steinke and Thomas, your defensive pair. Kreiser takes it behind the net. He's looking for options here, gets it back over to Thomas. Thomas in the corner gets support from Eddie. Eddie trying to send that up the boards. Kreiser and Siljan on a 2-on-1. Siljan with the strong speed going in. Siljan shot. Deflected back behind the net off the goalie's blocker there. Warriors able to clear that down, send it down the full length of the ice. Icing waved off as Eddie picks it up. I believe that Siljan is calling for the puck. They dump that in. Tipped in up into the netting. Should move that play back out of the zone. That puck is long gone. Refs get another one and we resume play. Bjork, Beckwith, Strom up front. Gillespie and Razin, your defensive pair, as Yerk brings it in, keeping it to the outside. Look to get it back to the point for Gillespie. Nice. Good pressure by Razinin to get that puck back to the outside. Strom pushes his man to the boards, back to the point. D-to-D pass. And that one gets dumped into the corner for Gillespie. Gillespie behind the net, leaving it for Razinin. Up to the sideboards for Strom. Strom onside. Able to get around one. Got Urich out front. Strom looking for that wraparound opportunity. Beckwith and goal! 2 on the board for your Wildcats. Nice goal by Gavin Beckwith. Not sure who that assist was from, but a good effort by all boys in white, blue, and green on the ice. DD pass, Two Rivers dumped to the red line and in. Steinke will be the first on it. In the defensive zone, Steinke to Levine. Levine steps around one, leaves it for Steinke. Steinke up the boards and out. Steinke and Groutman enter the zone. Steinke tries to get it centered there, back for Scoog. Scoog fires. That one gets off the pad of Priest, I believe is in net for two, not Priest, other goalie. Apologies, Priest is on the bench. Saw him warming up and I forgot the numbers. Eddie, Kreiser, Siljan, Gillespie, and Thomas on for the Wildcats. Eddie drops that back to Siljan. Siljan not able to keep it in there. Thomas back to Gillespie. Gillespie backhands it up. And that one's chipped ahead but recovered by Kreiser. Kreiser drops it back to Thomas. Thomas sends it up for Siljan. Siljan able to get it in, rushing towards the puck. And that one sent around. Siljan lost his stick. And Two Rivers comes back the other way through the neutral zone, brings it onside, leaves it back for the point, but Siljan able to tip it back out and trying to win this foot race. Intercepted at the top of the circles. Eddie couldn't get a shot off there at the side of the crease. Whistle goes. Looks like we're going to have a cross-checking penalty. On the Warriors, number 23 to the box. Kind of a self-serve door operating scenario going on right now with Wildcats on the power play. Beckwith. That one gets rang around. Nice keep in there by Razinen. Beckwith trying to get that for Strom. Gets tied up in the corner. Back up and out. That one will go all the way down. Cleared. Stanky able to slow it down and recover behind the net. Bringing it back. Sends it up to Urick. Urick brings that in. He's hammered into the boards. Able to get back up. Stanky took a step around there. Warriors recover. Not able to get it out, and Beckwith sends it back in. Urick, deep in the corner behind the net. Steps aside, out front for Stanky, who was waiting for it. Erickson, strong play. Razinen able to defend pressure there from the empty net. Aggressive play by Erickson, but able to keep it out. Sawyer was trying to get, I'm sorry, keep doing that. Too many Razinens. Razinen was trying to get that up to Skoog off the mark. That one goes back for Thomas. Thomas sends it up for Schmidt. Schmidt's got Groutman streaking towards the net. Groutman back to the point for Skoog. Schmidt settles it down. Back again. Erickson going across, watching it. Levine able to deflect that away. Leaves it for Skoog. Cross ice pass intended for Schmidt, but sent back down deep into the zone for the Warriors. Levine will be first on the puck. He's got a lot of ice ahead for himself. He brings it in. Takes it to center. Out front. Deflection to the side, but nice opportunity. Icing is the whistle. Diving play to try to negate the icing call by number 19 of the Warriors. Warriors going left to right on your screen this period. Wildcats right to left. Wildcats up by 2. Shots on goal 5-0. Puck's back down. Siljan trying to take a shot through heavy traffic. Kreiser giving his man the shove. Siljan and Razinen. Eddie in the corner. Able to get his stick on it. Loose out front. Razin and Siljan come away with it. Razin sends it up for Kreiser. Kreiser rushing towards the net. Tried to leave that for Siljan. That one gets deflected to the other side of the rink. And here come the Warriors. Gillespie keeps his man to the outside. Warriors not able to do much with it. Into the corner. Up for Kreiser. Kreiser gets that over to Eddie. The Warriors dump it right back in. Gillespie recovers. Gillespie settles it down behind the net and gets it over for Kreiser, who's gaining speed through the neutral zone. Kreiser sends it over to Eddie. Eddie's taking a shot on that, and goal! Eddie's second of the game with a sharp low shot. Might have beat goalie 5-hole. Regardless, that is a 3-0 lead for the Cats. Back down for Beckwith. Stanky sends it up for Urick. Nice centering pass there. Urick onside with Strom. Urick takes it around looking for that wraparound attempt with no dice. Back to the red line for the red, gold, and white Warriors. Levine able to get a stick on it. Beckwith to Levine. Levine sends it up to Strom. Over to Urick, just onside. Back up to the boards for Levine. Levine takes that around, reverses, and gets that over to Beckwith. Beckwith trying to send that up for Skoog, a little out of his reach. Levine getting shoved into the boards, but still trying to maintain possession. Levine digs it up, takes it into the zone, trying to center. Groutman took a swing in that, able to recover possession. Gets it back up. Schmidt. Thomas. Thomas sends that over for Levine. Levine sends it up the boards, intercepted there by Groutman, giving pressure to it. Groutman taken down, no call. Over around, Skoog looking to keep it in, right at the danger zone there, the dead spot. Shot gets recovered. And here comes the Warriors. Trying to get pressure, not able to elude the crafty Thomas. As Schmidt brings it in on the outside. Good puck control. Left it there, centered out front, out of the reach of Preston Skoog. Back down for Erickson. Erickson sends it back out into the neutral zone. And the Warriors once again dump it back in behind the net. Thomas first on it for the Cats. Thomas sends it up for Kreiser. Kreiser cross rink, looking for Skoog. Gillespie drops it back. Skoog rings around the boards to Thomas. Thomas gets over to Kreiser. Kreiser with a nice pass over to Max joining the rush. Gillespie shot up into the air, hits off the glass. Kreiser able to keep it in, gets it back to the point. Eddie is in. Drop back down. Gillespie to Kreiser. Kreiser pushed off the puck. Stilgen almost able to knock one down as well. And that one up and over somehow will force a offensive zone faceoff. Razinen, Stanky, Kreiser, Eddie, and Stilgen on the ice. Back up the boards. Almost kept in there. Offside and now clear as Two Rivers comes the other direction. Razinen taken down and called. So Cats will go back on to the power play. As Liam Razinen took one for the team. Thank you, Liam Razinen. Skoog, Groutman, Stanky, Razinen. Here's a shorthanded opportunity for Two Rivers. Shot on goal, easily deflected aside by Erickson. Razin and Steinke trying to get it away from Two Rivers, who's doing all sorts of interesting stuff. Calling it a dead puck, got away with a delay game there. But everyone's okay, and we'll try again here. And puck's back down for Eddie. Eddie leaves it for Levine behind the net. Levine takes a step aside, and he's off. Levine through neutral ice. Takes it around to the boards. Trying to set up the power play. That one was deflected off Eddie. Able to set it down and get it back to Thomas. Thomas sends it up. Off a skate for Levine. Levine to Kreiser. Kreiser to Levine. Not able to settle it down right in front. Good opportunity and good play for the Wildcats. Back for Levine. Levine takes a shot. Glove save. Dropped. Once again for Thomas. Thomas took a whiff at it. Not able to get it on, but kept in. Eddie off the helmet of Siljan, it looked like. Siljan. Kreiser comes to help out Eddie, and that one will go all the way down. For a icing clear on the penalty kill here as Thomas picks it back up. Levine on the ice, off the ice, Gillespie back on. Thomas tried to send that all the way down for Kreiser off of a skate. Eddie sends that one deep, goes back to the point. Gillespie shot and a goal! Max Gillespie, his first goal as a Wildcat. 4-0 to the benefit of the Cats. Nice goal from the point, Max Gillespie. That one's back down. Razin to Eddie. Eddie sends it over for Siljan. Siljan leaves that for Kreiser. Warriors unable to get that back out of the zone. Almost intercepted there again by Kreiser. Razin able to keep pressure. Eddie sends it to the skate of Siljan. On goal, Erickson with a kick save back to Gillespie. Gillespie, nice little feed for Siljan. Looked like that would have been offside as puck came back out, but Razin leaves that for Beckwith. Beckwith sends that ahead and out. Strom to Beckwith. Cats offside just barely at the blue line. Shots on goal lead 8-0. Booth and camera operator Chris Razin believes it should be 8-1, but just not giving it to him yet.
It's really 11-1.
Cats definitely maintaining the offensive pressure. Levine back, able to tip it back to the boards. Crunchy right at the Wildcats bench. Warriors send it wide of the net. Levine settles it down, and we'll get it up to Urick. Urick picked back up again by the Warriors, but they lost the handle, and then Steinke is going to take that one back in onside, rushing towards the net, gets trapped in the corner. Urick picks it up behind the net, got a minute left in this first period. Back to the point, kept in there by Thomas, sends it to the other corner. Warriors send it back to the point. Beckwith sends it over. Thomas wasn't quite ready for it, but he will recover and send it back to Beckwith. Beckwith settles. Amazingly, got that over to Thomas. Thomas taking down, no call. Thomas able to keep it in there. Right past the stick of Skoog. 18 seconds left as Warriors bring it onside. Pushed into the boards by Skoog. Gillespie behind the net. Gillespie sends it back to the point. Warriors send one on net. Pad save. Settled down by Schmidt. And that'll be our first period. Shot on goal. Shots on goal. 8-1 in favor of the Cats. We will have a quick break here. No Zamboni break until after the second period. And if you're looking for the varsity game, tune on over to Eagan TV on YouTube, as they as well will take on the Warriors from Two Rivers. Back for the second period. Puck's down for Gillespie, who's able to keep it out, gets it up to Eddie. Eddie, broken stick, back to pure hockey. Merry Christmas. Steinke not able to keep it in.
2 goals out of that stick today.
That's right, that was a beneficial stick. Gillespie tried to feed that over to Steinke as he's rushing in. Groutman trying to force the pass, and does. Gillespie able to keep it in. Groutman watching behind. Warriors send that around the boards and able to get it past Thomas, but Thomas will pick it back up. Thomas over to Gillespie. Gillespie trying to feed that through off a skate. Gillespie tied up at the bench for whatever reason. Grauman sends it over for Schmidt. Schmidt able to dump that deep into the corner. That one picked up by Skoog. Skoog trying to leave that for Schmidt. Schmidt taking away for it. And Levine able to tip that one away. Momentarily, Warriors not able to do much with it. But here comes Schmidt. Schmidt trying to tip it around. That one goes back out. Skoog will have to wait for everyone to touch back up. And Warriors the other direction. Groutman trying to get a stick on it. That one goes deep behind Erickson. Schmidt reverses that back around. Picked up by Groutman. Groutman takes it to the center. Over to Skoog. Skoog tips it in. Kicked back out by the Warriors. Levine into the corner, able to settle it down. Trying to get it around for Schmidt. Schmidt along the boards, able to get it back out. Back to Levine. Levine sends it over for Razanen. Razanen to Levine, D to D. And Levine with a nice stretch pass to Schmidt. And in comes Skoog. Can't quite settle down to Eddie with a nice tip. To Skoog. Skoog shot on, right on. Picked up again by Razanen, who thought about going off the ice for a minute, but able to intercept and decided, I can get another minute. Tipped into neutral zone. Kreiser sends it across for Levine. Levine drops it back to Kreiser. Stretch pass over to Siljan. Nice pass. Shot and goal. Shot and goal is the theme of tonight's game. And Siljan with a top shelf snipe. Right where Grandma hides the peanut butter. (5-0) for the Wildcats. Back down, Gillespie dumps that deep in. Around for Yurk, past Yurk. Beckwith keeps that in, back to the point. Out into the slot and back out. Icing waved off. Gillespie trying to be the first on there for the Cats. Warriors not able to get possession, and that one will go back out for Strom. Strom sends it over for Yurk. Yurk with a nice move to the center. Tipped away right in front of the crease, back to Gillespie. Gillespie shot. Blocked aside into the corner. Beckwith leaves it for Thomas. Thomas loose out front. Warriors able to turn it the other way, but picked up by Gillespie. Gillespie leaves it. Warriors trying to take that in on side. Just elect to dump it and change. Behind the net there, taken away. Warriors recover, send it out front, not able to turn and fire as Gillespie goes after it. Yurk there, off some sticks and skates. That one gets loose, but out. And dumped in deep again for Thomas. Thomas up to the blue line, tipped back in. That one's going to be sent all the way down for an icing whistle. Cats need to change, and they'll get one. Welcome back to the ice. Steinke, Skoog, Groutman, Levine, and Hudson Schmidt. .10:47 left in the second period. That puck picked up by Steinke. Steinke able to get around one and gets that puck to center ice. D-to-D pass there by the Warriors. Faked the shot there and then able to tip it up to the blue line and dumped in. Steinke. Shot on goal, gets deflected into the glass by Eriksson. Loose in the corner. Here's Levine. Levine keeps the outside, tips it for himself up to Skoog. Skoog. Levine tips it back to the boards. That one back to the skates of Schmidt. Levine again, tips it off the glass to himself. 2-on-1 opportunity here with Levine and Skoog. Levine. Skoog, shot and goal! Levine passed over to Skoog, faked the shot, got over to Skoog. 6-0 Wildcats. Very patient play. Good forecheck pressure. Like to see the teamwork. Things seem to be clicking. Levine and Steinke on the assist. Goal by the Skooger. That one back through neutral ice, onside. No possession yet. Eddie trying to tip that one away. Kreiser took a reach for it. Shot wide. Razinen gets up to Siljan. Siljan gets it over to Thomas. Thomas with a nice pass back to Kreiser. Kreiser tips it ahead. Has a rush towards the net. He's going to be looking for that wraparound. Tried to center it there, but off a skate. Back for Gillespie. Gillespie to Thomas. Thomas. In for Siljan. Siljan almost got bumped down, but off the puck. Thomas up and behind the net. 8:50 left in the second period. Warriors trying to break out. Kept in there by Siljan momentarily. Back for Gillespie. Gillespie. Thomas. Thomas applying pressure. Nice job. Gets back down, but Wildcats main possession. Here comes Eddie with space and speed. Eddie shot. Tried to hit that close post there, but goalie able to hug and seal and keep it out. Back down for the point. Gillespie keeps it in. Pass ahead into the corner. Europe, Urich, and Steinke. Beckwith dumps it behind the net. Strom rushing back. Steinke once again keeps it in with a skate. Urich centers for Strom, just past, sneaks by the crease. That one back to the boards again. Steinke with good position. To the point for Beckwith. Shot deflected over to the corner. And that one's going to go all the way down. Icing is the whistle. If you believe the scoreboard, shots are 12-1. 50% goals on shots. I believe the shots are probably a little bit more on each side. But if those are the stats, I will take 50% any day. Every other shot is going in. So the scoreboard says. And they haven't been bad goals. Good goals. Back around. Levine will pick that up. Not far enough for icing. Levine DD pass over to Razin. We've seen that before. Up to Skoog. Groutman able to help get that puck in. But that one goes back. Stick down there by Levine. Poked back into the neutral zone by Razinen. Razinen again. Up to Groutman, backhanded deep into the zone. Preston Skoog was trying to get there first. Slowed down by the Warriors as they come back the other way. Groutman with a nice hit into the boards. Levine slowing it down. Just past the stick of Skoog. They're going to wave that one off. Schmidt's got Skoog out in front. Skoog takes it off the boards from the corner. Trying to leave that there for Schmidt. To the top of the circles for Levine. A little bit out of his reach. Lost the handle. Down low for Groutman. Levine. And Warriors come the other way. Elect to dump it in. And go for a change. Schmidt. Stretch pass over to Groutman. Who dumps it to the other corner. Skoog goes for a change. Couple new cats on the ice there. Siljan, gloved down by Kreiser. Not able to get it much further than a couple feet inside the blue line. Onside, shot, blocker save into the corner by Eriksson. Kreiser. In all alone, he's got Siljan trailing behind on the other side. Kreiser, nice pressure. Siljan comes to help out. Stuck between some skates there in the corner. Siljan taking the offense to a glove in his face, and the Warriors come back the other way. Eddie got that one calmed down. Siljan almost had a rush the other way, and now Eddie will pick it back up. Not able to maintain control. Off a couple shirts and skates and helmets. Back in goes Eddie. Off the boards. Kept in there by Kreiser, who dumps it into the corner. Siljan keeps that one in. Couple Wildcats go off for a change. Gillespie keeps that in at the point. Tried to get that one on net, but deflected offside, and now back on for Strom. Off the glass, almost intercepted by Gillespie. 2-on-1 opportunity here for the Warriors. Erickson with a nice positioning, able to intercept that pass. That one goes to Strom, to Uric, back in, and tipped back out. Thomas just brought in offside, thought they were going to let it go. Late whistle there. 4:35 left in this 6-0 game. It is period 2, as I'm so rightly corrected. We want to be the source of information and truth here at the Wildcat Network. Yeah? How many? .4:14 left, shots 13-12. Groutman, Skook, Steinke, Schmidt, and Razinen. Groutman leaves that for Steinke. Steinke through traffic. Goalie almost had that one. Able to make the save. Calm down. Steinke back at the point. Takes a shot. Doesn't get a whole piece of it, or it went off his skate. Steinke still trying to keep that in, and does not. Able to get that back in. Skook touches up and re-enters the zone. Stretch pass there, intercepted by Razinen. Razinen to Groutman. Groutman steps around one, enters back in the zone. Shot on goal, deflected into the corner. Shots, shots, shots. Another one by Razinen. Groutman sends that one behind the net. Warriors not able to fully recover. Got lost in some sticks. Steinke, calmed down by Razinen. In the zone by Skoog. Groutman going after it. Picked up again and sent to neutral ice. Steinke on it for the Cats. Steinke sends it up. A little off the boards here. Groutman sends it down the other way. Icing is the call. 3:11 left. Back on the ice. Kaiser, Levine, Eddie, Thomas, and Siljan for your Wildcats. Thomas behind the net. Levine watching his post. D pass, or a little bit past. Thomas takes it back to the safety of the trapezoid. And here comes Levine. Levine able to evade pressure. He's going to skate it up, try to take it to the center. Levine keeps it in. Levine takes it to the center, trying to get it up with his skates, but intercepted there by the Warriors. Siljan dumps it into the zone. Not able to quite win that foot race. Levine trying to protect it at the point, and does. Warriors lose the handle there. Kreiser brings it in the other way. That one goes by Levine. Siljan able to dump back in. Wildcats touch up again. And Eddie will be applying the forecheck. That one across for Thomas. Thomas sends it to Strom. Strom sends it behind the net. 1:52 left. That one hits off the back of the net. Back up for Thomas. Thomas trying to send that over for Strom. That one will find the stick of Beckwith. Strom knocked off the puck, and Thomas will have to go back for it. Icing waved off. That one was intercepted. Nice play there by Gillespie to waver off the shot. Uric leaves it for Beckwith. Into the corner is Thomas. able to provide some defensive pressure. Sending opportunity goes off the side of the net. Thomas will send that up and off the boards as they send that back in. Onside. 1 minute left in the second period. Puck left. Beckwith able to push his man off. Thomas trying to get it out the rest of the way. Beckwith gets it over to Urich. Urich over to Strom, a little past his stick. Back through the neutral zone. Gillespie trying to tip that one up. Gillespie again. Strom working at it. That one left for Cade Steinke. Steinke up the glass trying to hit Strom. Strom pushed but not deterred. And here comes Strom with a centering opportunity. Goes off the side. Goalie decides to cover it. 19.3 seconds left in the second period. Puck's back down. Sent up through neutral ice. Gillespie going to have to protect these last 10 seconds. They're going to call that interference. And Gillespie will go to the box for 2 minutes. That one poked back for Groutman. Steinke, centering opportunity. No goal, went in after the buzzer. Good call on the ice. It was close. It was close.
Two Rivers fans were so excited.
No one really upset. No one seemed to think it was closer than it was, but it was, you kind of felt it coming, didn't you? All right, so we will take a Zamboni break here. We'll be back for the thrilling conclusion of this Wildcat Junior Varsity game here at Eagan Civic Center. Guess who's back? It's Eagan Wildcats. And they are ready for the third period. 15 minutes on the clock. Eagan Wildcats versus the Two Rivers Warriors. Erickson in net. On the ice is Levine and Razanen. Siljan and Groutman, your starting four for this penalty kill. Gillespie should be in the box. Gillespie forgot he was in the box for a penalty. So he'll have to go around. Siljan settles that down, shot goes wide of the net. Razanen feeds that over to Levine. Just over a minute left in the penalty kill. Back to the top of the point. Shot on goal goes wide. Groutman trying to get that one cleared down. Levine steps in, able to leave it for Groutman, who's able to send it down. 1 minute left in the penalty kill. Full line change for the Cats. Schmidt tracking behind the net, able to apply some forecheck pressure as the Warriors send it to the sideboards. Cross ice pass intercepted there by the Cats and then settled down again by Schmidt. Skoog sends it in deep behind the play, behind the net. Warriors get it through center ice. Levine able to tip that one away. Levine into the corner, trying to kick the head and gets it out. Just goes by his skate, but still able to get it outside the zone. 13-18 left in third period, 10 seconds left. That one finds the Warriors stick as they dump it deep in for Thomas to retrieve. Wildcats are back at full strength. Gillespie heads to the bench. Steinke with a good forecheck, applying pressure. That one goes to the sideboards, kept in there by Levine, who's dumped it back behind the net. Steinke trying to get there first. Thomas keeps it in, gets it away from the pit of doom, and Steinke applies pressure. Thomas sends it across for Levine. D-to-D pass. Levine ducks around one. Thomas sends it up past the stick of Steinke, and that'll be icing whistle. Nice, successful penalty kill by the Cats. Razanen, Levine on the ice with Urick, Strom, and Beckwith. Puck's down. Beckwith trying to get that across. Strom comes away with it. Got Urick to his left side. Strom takes it in and able to maintain control. Gets it to the front of the slot, but Warriors able to get it right back out. Razanen sends it over for Levine. Levine tips it back out of the zone for Urick. Warriors not able to get around Urick as Urick brings it back in onside. Strom out in front of the net. That one picked up by Strom. Strom looking to center. Urick out front. That one got loose. Goalie lost sight of it for a moment. Strom centers it for Urick. Urick gets it back to the point for Razanen. Razanen shot on goal. Deflect to the side. Urick again. Urick reverses back around and sends it deep for Strom. Strom has Beckwith out front. Strom takes it to the side, trying to feed it front for Urick. Warriors able to get that one up into the zone. Levine applying pressure. That one gets into the slot, but picked up there by Razanen. A nice pass over to Schmidt. Schmidt up to Levine. Levine tried to take to the center. Schmidt picks up the loose change. Schmidt takes it behind the net. Stops short. Levine in the corner. trying to center that as well. Schmidt comes in to help. That one goes back up and out. Skoog almost had a tripping penalty there, able to get that back aside. Warriors lose control, and that one goes back out. Levine, who's been out pretty much looks like the entire period. That one gets centered, shot, deflected into the netting. Wildcats up by 6. So run time has started. That one back to the point for Gillespie. Gillespie had Siljan dumping in. Steinke applying the forecheck. Kept in there by Thomas, who backhands it back behind the net. Warriors not able to regain control. Siljan loses it in his skates, pushed into the boards. Eddie comes in to help out. 3 Warriors, 2 Wildcats. Eddie keeps that in. They call it offside, but the Cats touch back up and Gillespie has it. Gillespie, nice little pass back. That was Thomas to Gillespie, and back down into the corner is the Warriors. Warriors send it back up to the point, but that one trickles out over the stick of number 17. Siljan able to get that back in. Steinke going to be first on it for the Cats. Steinke behind the net, he gets taken off the puck. Siljan to Eddie. Eddie settled it down, trying to still work it there. Loose out in front, finally covered by number 40 of the Warriors. 8:30, 8:29, 8:27 as the time ticks off. Gillespie and Thomas stay on as Beckwith, Urick, and Strom enter the arena. Back to the point for Thomas. Thomas with a hard shot, glove save, number 40. Puck's back down, kept in there by Strom and Beckwith. Beckwith trying to dig it out. Warriors able to briefly get it out of the zone, but Gillespie with a nice opportunity to keep it out. Gillespie steps aside, gets it up past Strom's stick. That one is going to be icing, but at this point, the whistle is our friend. The whistle is our friend. Back out Levine and Razinen. Strom, Urick, and Beckwith on the ice for your forwards. Shots on the board, 16-3. That one tipped away last minute. Warriors able to keep that in through traffic. Maybe hits some metal there as Levine pulls it off the boards. He's going to take it to the center and get it up to Strom. A little past his stick. Warriors able to get it back up and out. Should have been offside. They're going to let it play. Beckwith working behind the net. Beckwith trying to take it aside for Strom, who was out front. Warriors tip ahead. Nice stick by Razinen, who's able to keep it away from harm. And he will get it over to Levine. Levine with a nice side step gets it up to Strom. Strom not able to get it out. Warriors keep it in. Levine keeping it tight on the boards. Strom able to get that back out into the neutral zone. Shot high and wide behind the glass. Broken stick right in front of the bench. Centering opportunity. Erickson held that tight. Tried to take a shot on, hit their own player, and Beckwith will come away with it. It's got Skoog racing up ahead. Beckwith not able to finish the zone entry. But Cats still able to keep possession. That one drops back to Thomas. Thomas is looking for Skoog. Groutman gets it over into the zone. Schmidt loses an edge. Gillespie, nice job there. That one sent across. Thomas will have to pick that one up, and Groutman picks up the loose change. Groutman takes it to the center. He's got Skoog and Schmidt with him. Groutman center, shot wide. Skoog sends it on wide of the net. And that one will go all the way down for icing whistle. 5:20 left and the clock's still ticking. Clock is our friend. Five minutes left in this third period. On the ice, Eddie, Steinke, Thomas, Siljan, and Gillespie. Eddie with 2. 4 other goal scorers here to the point for Thomas. Nice attempt there by Eddie, right into the pads. Gillespie able to keep that one in. Gillespie shot. Goalie curled up like forget the little worm that turns into a ball. Kept in there by Thomas. Siljan applying pressure behind the net. That won't go to the side corner. Steinke looking for it. Kept in out of harm's way by Thomas. Warriors pick that up. Thomas able to get in the way, and Eddie will collect in the corner. Leave that for Thomas. Lots of ice ahead of this rush here. Thomas enters his zone with Steinke. Over to Steinke. Steinke tried to get that through. Thomas joined the rush behind the play there. Levine back on the ice. That one gets stopped by Siljan. Siljan gets pushed, but able to keep it out of harm's way. Eddie picks that up, sends it over to Levine behind the net. Levine takes that control. That one kicked ahead. High stick. Going to be called off the Wildcats. Thomas off, Beckwith on, Razinen, Strom, Yurk, and Levine. 3:15 left and counting. Puck goes down. That one sent all the way on the boards by Razinen for Yurk. Yurk gets to Beckwith. Beckwith keeps it to the outside, trying to protect that was by. He's taken down. Strom back to Razinen. Razinen steps around one, able to keep it in and get it deep for Yurk. That one goes all the way around for Strom. Strom pushed into the boards, maintains pressure on the sidewall there. Yurk comes to help out. Warriors trying to get it back out into the neutral zone, and they do. Razinen with good defensive coverage there. Levine sends it across for Strom. Strom with stretch press to Yurk. Yurk brings it in, left up for Levine. Levine not able to maintain possession at the red line. And here come the Warriors the other way. Gillespie with good defensive pressure at the bottom of the circles. Levine goes into the corner, reverses around. He'll pull it off the board, send it up for Yurk. Yurk, Levine battling in the corner, 2-on-2. Yurk comes away with it, sends it across for Schmidt. Brought in on side. Skoog goes down towards the crease, but Gillespie sends it to the sideboards. Groutman with pressure. Still loose out in front. Not able to get a stick on it was the Warriors, and Levine sends it all the way down the ice. 1:24 left in this third period. Eddie back on the ice. Drops out for Thomas. Gillespie on the other side. Thomas to Siljan. Brought back in. Nice pressure by Siljan. Still loose. Able to be swept away. 38 seconds left. Shot high and wide as Steinke's likes to get that out, but that one goes back for Thomas. Thomas steps around the side again and picked up there by Siljan. 4-on-2 opportunity. Steinke not able to bring that in onside, but what do we say? What is our theme? Whistle is our friend. 15 seconds left. Might be just enough time for one more puck drop. 8 seconds left. Ref's taking his time, drops the puck, goes down. 3 seconds left. 2-1. That is a 6-0 victory for your Eagan Wildcats. Zane Erickson with the shutout win. Solid effort, might be his first one, I'm not sure, but a solid win as the goalies get that obligatory goalie hug in. And we will see you Tuesday night versus the Irish from Rosemount. Grandparents' night. Home back here at Eagan. Head on over to Eagan TV on YouTube to watch the Varsity squad take on these same Two Rivers. We'll see you next time.